Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call this special meeting to order of the Santa Clara City Council. Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for our statement of values? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we gather, we humbly seek blessings upon this meeting. May we act with strength, courage, and will to perform our obligations and duties to our people with justice to all. Let us seek wisdom so that we may act in the best interest of our people, our neighbors, and our country. All this we ask so that we may serve our community with fairness and respect, putting their needs before all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call. City Clerk?
Councilmember Watanabe.
Yes, here.
Councilmember Shahal.
Present.
Councilmember Hardy.
Present.
Vice Mayor Park.
Here.
Councilmember Jane.
Here.
Councilmember Becker.
Here.
Mayor Gilmore.
Here.
The Statement of Behavioral Standards. The City of Santa Clara has adopted a code of ethics and values and behavioral standards for public meetings to promote and maintain the highest levels of conduct. This includes mutual respect, robust discussion, and allowing city business to be done in an efficient and consistent manner. Please note that as the presiding officer, the mayor's direction in matters of process and decorum should be followed, and that use of the gavel indicates all conversations must conclude, and everyone in attendance should come to order and attention. Welcome and thank you for your participation.
Do I read the Zoom meeting information? Okay. All right. Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. For today's meeting, the council is back in person and is conducting its meeting in a hybrid manner. The public is welcome to attend in person as the city continues to use a Zoom feature to allow participation from the safety of your home or office. Members of the public can still join via the link and/or call into the Zoom meeting phone number shown on the screen now. If you'd like to speak on an agenda item or during public presentations, which I don't think we have any tonight, please raise your hand on the Zoom application or press *9 on your phone. Please only raise your hand while the item you're seeking to speak on is presented. Staff will enter your name or the last 4 digits of your phone number, and I will call on you to speak. So let's move on to the council agenda. So tonight, we will be conducting interviews to fill four seats on 4 different commissions. And I know our city clerk has informed all of our candidates that this is happening tonight, and I believe have given all of our candidates a list of questions as well. So we're going to start with item 1A, interviews and action to appoint 1 applicant to the Senior Advisory Commission. City Clerk, did you have some comments you wanted to make?
I think you've covered it all, Mayor.
Okay, so the first applicant we're going to call up for the Senior Advisory Commission, and that is 1 full term ending June 30th, 2027. Wow, 2027, it's hard to think out that far. Sri Manavanan, if you'd like to come forward, please. Thank you so much for joining us, and you were here early today, so you are the first up as well, so welcome. You have 3 minutes to give us an opening statement. I understand you have a handout for us as well. And then we are going to ask you some questions and then a minute closing statement. So should we get these first and then, so we're not distracted? We'll get these before you start, so just give us a minute. There's 3 for us to share? Okay. Okay. Are they different?
All the same.
Oh, they're all the same. Okay. Here, pass that down. Okay, Sri, when you're ready, go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone. My first name is Srinivasan, last name is Manivandan. Could call me Sri. And I'm a technology expert and also
Can you speak in the microphone, please? Can we start all over, please? Just so everyone at home can hear you as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Better, yes.
My first name is Srinivasan, last name is Manivandan. You could call me Sri. I'm a technology expert with a global experience working in 3 different countries. And I'm also a social entrepreneur who believes in democratizing technology and solving complex problems in the society and in every organization. And I've also served on many boards like New Beginnings, Women's Victim Services, and Child Support Services. Covered Toronto, New Beginning, Women's Victim Services and Child Support Services. St. Mark's Housing Corporations, nonprofit housing corporations, and many organizations. And this is what I do and how I do it. And I have experience working in 10 different customer-centric industries like hotels, airlines, cruise lines, housing corporations, tech giants, and food retail, retail banking, commercial banking, and so on and so forth. And I'm a strong believer in learning. I constantly work hard on myself so that I don't have to work hard on the job or any project. And having said that, what I do is I cross-apply all those skills and techniques that I learned in every industry and cross-apply and solve complex problems and innovate and transform any organizations. And I looked at all the great things that you have done, you've been doing, and I was really fascinated by how you bridge the wisdom from the senior advisory with the passion from young youth committee. And I've reviewed more than 50 videos, and I can see the passion and compassion and your willingness to change and in the interest of saving and protecting our heroes of the nations. And I truly felt, and there is no place like this place, anywhere near this place, so this must be the place I belong. So I'm here to help you achieve. And no matter where you are in the ladder of success, there's always more to do. The good enough is not good enough if we can be better, and better is not good enough, we can be our best, and we can always better our best. And I'm here at your disposal to do that. And I'm ready for the questions.
Thank you. I have a question for you first before we start. You've applied for 2 commissions, one the Senior Advisory Commission, which you're interviewing for now, and the other is the Cultural Commission. Do you have a preference?
I would go with the Senior Advisory for seniors. And no matter where I serve, all our actions are intertwined and everything is interconnected. So my actions and my perspectives will be global and will be overlapping and intersecting every action that we do in every other councils.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, we're going to start with our questions, and we're going to start with Councilmember Becker with the first question.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for applying. So the first question is what is your favorite program at the Senior Center and why?
The Crime Stoppers program, and I also provided some historical data on that, and I can clearly see, I'm really fascinated by the way you identify those threats, which are physical threats and the cyber threats, and you have taken action in tackling those, and there's more to do. And so that is one of the programs I would say what we truly need right now with all the evolution. What we are witnessing now is more of a revolution in technology. So this is something comes as a package. The threats is something we have to bear in mind because the seniors are the easy targets.
Thank you. Councilmember Hardy?
Yes, thank you for applying. Have you participated in the Health and Wellness Fair? And if so, what thoughts might you have on improving the event?
To be honest, I never attended anyone, but I reviewed all the videos that are available on YouTube and other sources, and I can see I can see how every visitors felt and how they wanted to promote and take it to other people, other seniors in the county. And I see a lot of scopes and room for improvements, which would give us a better firm footing for further development.
Very good. Councilmember Jane?
Can you think of one service for seniors that Santa Clara should be providing that it's not already?
Absolutely. I looked at your websites and all the products and services, like I said, all are intertwined. To begin with, with the technologies available. The bare minimum we can do is a virtual bot, which would direct these seniors and to the right place, because we have plenty of it's a ocean of information on our website where the seniors would have trouble reaching the right information at the right time. So to begin with, we can start with that. And in a long-term goal, I've also provided a prototype for these app services that includes more than 15 services, including EMS and bot and other services included in that. To begin with, we can start with adding a bot on our website and then developing an app services, which is the unified solution that would provide the right information to the right visitor at the right time.
Thank you. What can you do to encourage more diversity for seniors and in senior activities?
Absolutely, and I've also included another point where we are doing a lot of great things, but it is not communicated to wide range of people. So we need to develop, to begin with, we need to create a different playlist and create contents and also capture those great moments and share with them. And really, it also helps them to refresh their memories, because we are aiming at providing the best impression, but also focus on providing the lasting impression. And sometimes we have to refresh their minds with the contents that we have, all the great things that we have done.
All right, very good. Thank you very much for those answers. It's now at the point where we're ready for your up to 1 minute closing statement.
Absolutely.
I read it already in the packet, but I want to hear it now.
Absolutely. Perfect. As an innovation catalyst, I've been around the world and visited more than 50% of the cities in the world, and worked in 50 different companies, and I've consulted more than 50 companies and 10 different customer-centric industries. And what I felt is it is very important to give back to the community. So I'm here not looking for an opportunity. I'm here to pay my dues upfront so I don't have to pay double later.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. If you're welcome to have a seat after our next applicant, we're actually going to be voting, so you're welcome to stay until then and with us the rest of the evening as well.
Thank you.
All right,
Very much.
thank you so much for the interview. Thank you. Okay, our next applicant is Maria Vaz, and she's here in the audience. Wonderful. Welcome, Maria. Welcome here to
Thank you.
the interview.
I'm glad to be here.
Oh, very good. So when you're ready, Maria, we'll be happy to hear your up to 3 minute opening statement. And you know we have some questions, you've heard them, and up to a 1 minute closing statement. So whenever you're ready, we're ready for you.
Okay. My name is Maria Vaz. I am from Brazil. And I am a producer of a Convenient Truth Urban Solutions from Curitiba, Brazil. I did that when I was living in Santa Cruz to help to plan for the 40 years or 20 years they were at the time. That was 2004, 2005. I come from a family that is highly altruistic people. So, and we are talking about like past, my great-grandfather, my great-father, and my grandfather, so all the families before educated women, which was not rare if you're talking about like 3 centuries ago. So I come from educated and altruistic people. So the reason why I am here is because I think I can contribute it with the background that I have from the family and taking care of my mom for 10 years. So I can really see where the gaps are on taking care of elder people. And coming back after my mom passing to US, I started working as a caregiver. Although I have a nursing degree in Brazil, And I see that there is a lot to be done in order to fully not just help seniors, but learn from them the wisdom they carry with them and that are forgotten. And I learned this with my own mother, who passed away not from disease, but for lack of elder attention. So working here, I see the same situation, and that's why I am here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maria, for that. So we're going to start with Councilmember Chahal with the next question.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for applying, Maria. My question is, what is your favorite program at Senior Center and why?
Yes, I go there, I'm a member, and I love the gym because I am also an elder. I'm 64, and I love exercising. I truly see the need to be, working out, and the gym is fantastic. And I also like the dancing sessions because from the experience that I had with my mom, and one thing that I think led her to pass with the age of 94, totally free of diseases, walking, doing her thing, never wear a diaper, was because of exercise, and music has all to do, and dance. So that's the two things that I love the most there, because it works the body and the mind, and of course has the swimming pool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Watanabe?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for applying, Maria. So my question for you is, have you participated in the Health and Wellness Fair? And if so, what thoughts might you have on improving the event?
Yes, I have participated, and I came to and I'm going to talk to the one that I was personally recently at the park by the senior center. And what I believe could improve is watching out for who's the vendor, and the vendor there that comes, I'm calling vendor. I don't know if I'm using the right term, but I hope you understand what I mean. The people who comes to expose and show, the different activities or resources that they have throughout the county. So I think to look to see if these people who comes in are really the ones who are providing a good service to the seniors or not. And I have an answer for that, no. And if I get to be working, I will show you for a fact what I'm talking about. So I think I'm advancing on the question, and that's one of the reasons why outreach would be a good thing. But this is my answer for the next question, actually.
Okay, thanks. Vice Mayor Park?
It's actually, thank you for that answer. I think that a lot of people check to see if services are there, but they never check about quality, and I think that's a big thing.
Yes.
Can you think of a service that currently the city doesn't provide that you think would be useful to seniors?
Yes, certainly. I'm not sure if the city does or does not provide, because I am new in the county, in the city, better saying. I've been living here since January. And so if I am wrong, please forgive me. But I believe that outreach is the ultimate thing that I believe doesn't have, and I think it should, because exactly of my answer to the previous question. Checking out what it's there and the service that has been provided. And specifically for housing, how the seniors are living, especially on assisted living center as well as independent living center. I think if we do an outreach to find that out, the improvement of the fair quality and providing more effective and helpful service to the senior community, I think will improve.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Becker?
Thank you, Maria, for applying. What can you do to encourage more diversity for seniors and senior activities?
Outreach. I think if the city provide people going out to those places and show them what it's available and asking them what they would like to have, I think that it's the ultimate way to really assist the seniors in the manners that they really need. I know activities, like the first one you asked about, like physical activity, mental, drawing, painting, all those things are very important to help them. But for the diversity, would be necessary to listen to them what they like to know, especially the Spanish community, the ones that not native, not talking about Native American, but I mean Americans, that people who has the culture living here. So the diversity would be possible, listen to them and asking them what they would like to see and provide those activities and services.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria. We're ready for your up to 1 minute closing statement.
Okay, thank you. Well, comes from the heart. As I said, I have been a successful businesswoman. I made a documentary that turned me known all over the world, and I changed my career because of the love I developed taking care of my mom for 10 years. And I don't want to see happen with so many people what happened to her, passing before time because of lack of public assistance that could have helped her. So, and I see the need here, and of course I'll put my heart on it to do my best inside of the scope that you guys have available, but that's most what I can do. And I'll be really happy if I could get engaged and do whatever I can do to help.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria, for that interview. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, council, we have two very qualified applicants. Both have different skill sets that both would bring great benefit to the commission, and this is going to be really hard. So we have one vote apiece, and we are going to have the city clerk give the first candidate and vote. Is that how the name, is that how we're going to do this?
So
We vote on our pads?
So with our, well, you won't vote on your pads. I've got the voting sheet right here. So once you make your nomination, you can use your pads to vote on that. But I will request for what,
I think, can't we vote on the pads for the,
yeah, you can vote
Yeah,
on it.
let's do it
but
that
what I'm
way.
going to ask you what your,
no, without you asking us, can we vote on the pads?
no, we can't.
We can't? I don't understand why we can't. You just gave the first name and we voted yes?
So I
No.
have to enter that motion
Oh,
into the system.
all right. It's fine.
So, Councilmember Becker, cast your vote, one vote.
Don't know what we're doing. Okay. I'm going, like the mayor said, this is a really hard decision. I'm going to give my vote to Maria.
Councilmember Hardy.
Srini, I'm going to say it wrong, Srini Vasan.
Sri. Councilmember James.
Maria?
Mayor Gilmore.
Shri.
Councilmember Shahal.
Srinivasan.
Councilmember Watanabe.
Maria.
Vice Mayor Park.
Maria.
So Maria received 4 votes and Sri received 3.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve Maria?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Becker, second by Councilmember Chahal for Maria.
Seconder was Shahal. Thank you. There you go.
All right, please register your vote. And that passes unanimously. Congratulations, Maria. Shri, thank you so much. I know you're up for another commission, though. Congratulations. If you, someone from the city clerk's office will contact you in terms of getting you sworn in and everything else, so congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor, I had a comment.
Madam Mayor?
I can't.
My hand up.
I know, but we can't have long comments. Everyone, 7 long comments, okay? Go ahead, Suds, short comment.
Maria, just wanted to say that movie about Curitiba and the bus rapid transit, it's fantastic. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, go
Okay.
ahead, yeah, no to stay. Suds, Kathy.
Thank you, Mayor. Actually, this message is for Sri, but also, we have the policy, we still have the policy where the person, the next voter, runner-up your name will be held for 6 months.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's
Yeah.
the city clerk, thank
Yeah,
you for
please.
reminding me.
Yeah.
City clerk, would you like to explain that?
Yes, if the council chooses to, you may elect to select Sri and place him on the eligibility list should a vacancy arise, and he would be on that for 6 months. And if that occurred, I would reach out to him if it was interested, then
Do you understand that, Shri? Okay, thank you. Is there a
I'll
motion?
make a motion for that.
Second it?
Okay, we have a motion, Councilmember Becker, second by Councilmember Jane, to put Shri on the eligibility list for the next 6 months. So if anybody drops out, then we don't have to do this again. Vice Mayor Park, did you have something to say on the motion?
Yes, I do. Thank you. And Sri, thank you very much for applying. I really appreciate that. I don't want you to take my vote as anything against you, but I am going to vote against the concept of the eligibility list. I think that I've said this in the past. I think eligibility should allow you to apply again without having to re-interview if you don't choose to. If you choose to re-interview, you could re-interview, but I think that that's a better process than simply having people who are on an eligibility list previously simply get appointed. So, I mean, people apply all the time. I think you're a great applicant. I don't think, we've got another commission coming up for you, but I'm not voting against you. I don't like the concept of eligibility. Thank you.
City clerk?
you may register your votes.
We don't see them. There you go. Please register your vote. Congratulations, Shri, you're on our eligibility list. All right, we'll see you though soon for another one. All right, very good. So our next interviews are for the Historical and Landmarks Commission to serve one full term ending June 30th, 2027. So Neetu? Hello. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. And
Thank
thank
you.
for inviting me here, and special thanks to Nora for all the back and forth communication. Even
Nora
the
loves
last
that,
moment
right?
question
Back
that I
and
asked.
Yes, we couldn't do this without her. So thank you for applying for the Historical and Landmarks Commission. You have up to 3 minutes for an opening statement, up to a minute for a closing statement, and I believe you've gotten the questions ahead of time.
Yes, I did.
So whenever you're ready.
So my name is Neetu Garg, and I'm a resident of Santa Clara. I immigrated to the United States 18 years back, and Santa Clara being my first home. I lived in city of Sunnyvale, Cupertino, and back to Santa Clara now. So that's about a little bit introduction about me. And then for my profession, I work as an IT consultant and gathering requirements and providing end-to-end product is what I do for my living. And other than that, I would say that I'm a I'm a person, I'm a very diverse person in myself, as I was born in Nairobi, Kenya. And there I got to, and after that I moved to India in my later years and to United States. So with all this of my experience, I got to travel end to end all countries, like Kenya, India, east to west, north to south, I've traveled, and United States as well, many states I've been. So what stands out to me about visiting a place and all is that how is the city, how culturally rich is the city, what are the famous landmarks of it, and how are they preserved? So this is what I look for in a city to be. And if I get a chance to work on the Landmark Commission, I would like to know more about the city's landmarks and how can it be a highlight for the tourists, and how can it can stand out. That's about me.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We're going to start with our questions. Councilmember Hardy?
Yes. What is your favorite story or anecdote about Santa Clara's history?
I read an article from this Santa Clara University, History Beneath Your Feet. I think that was the article, in which the Franklin Mall, when they renovated it, so the excavation and what all they took out from there and how they preserved it. So that was that, this city is really rich. It's not something new, like, it is seeing generations and generations of history in it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Jane?
So many of our homes and properties in Santa Clara are over 50 years old. How you would distinguish between what is considered historical and what is just plain old?
So how I can distinguish what is plain old and historical, anything that has gotten history attached with it, like any meaning, like archaeologically, architecturally, or any history attached to a certain property can be considered as historical, and it has to qualify for certain things to get registered in the National Landmark National Register of Landmarks or History. And plain old, any house can be, like the house I live is 75 years old, but it cannot be marked as a historical significance because there is no history or archaeology attached to it. As an example, 1191 Benton Street, it is a house where it was the first superintendent of Santa Clara lived, the Warburton House. So there are many examples. These can be marked as something as a landmark, historical landmark, not an old house like mine's.
Your house is very charming. All right. Do you have any zoning code updates you'd like to see to better preserve historic properties?
I'm not much aware about it, but what I know is, what I've read is zoning code 18.106, I believe, and it's about preserving historical.
Okay. Very good. Councilmember Chahal?
Thank you for applying. Do you feel that some of the old motels on El Camino have historical significance? What other building structures do you feel have historical significance in Santa Clara?
So there are many structures that have got historical significance. Like I just told, certain houses in which the particular, like Santa Clara history is attached to. And Santa Clara University, the first university in California. So, yeah, these are the certain.
Thank you.
That was that the last one? Yes. Yes. So, Neetu, when you're ready, your 1 minute, up to 1 minute closing statement.
Okay. So, if chosen for this commission, I would like to get my multicultural and my travel, what I have experienced through traveling to different countries and states, that what can stand out for for any city to be rich in the heritage. And I also would like to highlight, have some walking tours in the city so that the residents are more aware how rich their city is. And if we can sell some of our landmarks. Selling it means promoting, so some corporates around so that we can get more revenue. They can have their parties or they can have their cultural events that are historical landmarks.
Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you for applying. If you just want to hold on here, take a seat. We have one more interview for this commission, and then we're going to be voting. So please stay with us if you can.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Neetu. Yvonne. All right. Welcome, Yvonne. Thank you so much for applying for the commission.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you to everyone, donating your time. And I know some people are eating their lunch.
Dinner. Sometimes we're here till wee hours of the morning, so we have to eat when we can.
I totally understand that.
Thank you. So when you're ready, you can tell us about yourself up to 3 minutes, and then a 1-minute closing statement, and of course we have questions in between.
Perfect. My name is Yvonne Inciarte. Inciarte is my married name. My maiden name is Delgado. So I have been living in Santa Clara for over 27 years. I came here very young. I went to Scotland Elementary School for first grade. I was born in Santa Cruz. My parents met in Castroville, California, which is the artichoke capital of the world. So I'm familiar with having these, coming from an agricultural town. And although I was very small, it's something that's permanent in my mind. And I went to Booksir Middle School. I know I was originally Santa Clara High School. That's the original. That's the landmark that we gotta preserve for sure. And I went to Santa Clara High School. I also went to Mission College. I participated in the Mission Middle College before it became a high school. So I was a guinea pig for that. And, it's I'm really proud of being from Santa Clara. It's my home. I grew up here. I met my husband here. And also what I do in my spare time is I work in the office of Congressman Ro Khanna. So I do see familiar faces here. I've seen you guys in other events. And I'm just really passionate about serving Silicon Valley, but specifically, I want to be involved with Santa Clara, our city, because it's not San Jose Valley, Cupertino Valley, it's Santa Clara Valley. And so that's a little bit about myself.
Thank you very much. We're going to start with Councilmember Watanabe.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for applying, Yvonne. Yvette. I'm sorry.
Yvonne.
Yvonne. Okay, I'm sorry.
French name Yvonne.
So your first question, what is your favorite story or anecdote about Santa Clara's history?
My favorite anecdote or story of Santa Clara is the beginning of what Santa Clara is. We were known as this farming, agricultural town where it's we had a lot of orchards here where people that lived here came from different countries. We have the Portuguese community that came, and people were working in canneries. And it's what I like is that my parents' home is right here on Dawn Avenue, right down the street from Warburton. And we're in walking distance. I've walked around this area so many times, and our home, the soil is telling of what the history of Santa Clara has, where you can grow anything that you want to grow. And this city actually has been prosperous. We're in a good location. If you want to go to San Francisco, you can go there. You want to go to Santa Cruz, it's right there. You want to go to Big Sur, it's down there. You want to go to LA, you can. But then in the end, you always want to come back to Santa Clara, where it's known to be Silicon Valley, big tech giants are living here. And I like that it's always been prosperous, whether it's a farming industry, canning industry, now it's tech industry, and who knows what will be of Santa Clara. But I do want to make sure that we preserve our identity and be able to kind of shape it into what we really are. We're leaders. And there's so much that we can contribute, so much that we can keep safe while, trying to enable this growth.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Park?
Thank you very much for applying. And many of our homes and properties in Santa Clara are over 50 years old. How will you distinguish between what is considered historical and what is just plain old?
To distinguish between what's historical and old, historical will be if like the architecture or the area is telling of a time, like whether it's something in the 50s, that should be considered a historical. I've known like a lot of older folks that are like in their 90s that can recount certain areas where they're like, I don't want that to change. Like our families grew up here, our communities, our children grew up together playing there, and now there's like some like luxury apartment there or something. So I would say something that's historical would be that, where it's like we have these passionate and these core memories that we can trace back to it being like Santa Clara, and that Santa Clarans share together. And old would be something that's just decaying and has been there. It doesn't remind you of anything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Becker?
Thank you for applying. My question to you is, do you have any zoning code updates that you would like to see to better preserve historic properties?
I would say when it comes to zoning, we have to be mindful of where these luxury apartments are established, because over time, like Santa Clara has working class families. We have our blue collar families, and we do have like new growth in Santa Clara where we do have like white collar like coming in, and it's like everyone's building. We want to grow together, but we need to be mindful where like these luxury apartments are built, because although we are encouraging the growth, it can also bring about some gentrification. And so people that have been growing here since infant stages will have to end up, they leave. They go to other places like Tracy, they go to Manteca. I'm sorry, but I would not want to live there. This is Santa Clara. I'm proud to be from Santa Clara. I've lived here most of my life, and I wouldn't choose anywhere else to live.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Hardy?
Thank you, Yvonne. Do you feel that some old motels on El Camino Real have historical significance? What other building structures do you feel have historical significance?
There are a couple of motels and like inns on El Camino, like Old Western Motel. I mean, maybe the inside could be updated or renovated, but that sign's been there since like the 50s, like from 49 to 59. And that just kind of lets you know, it's like although we're tech, we're Silicon Valley, and like we have tech here, it's still telling of the Western times. We're the West. And so we have El Camino there, that's a historical road, and that's somewhere that people used to pass by, and it lets you know, you got 1949 to 1959. Maybe we could keep that sign and make that a landmark or some historic plaque. But that is something historic that I've seen even going to school when I was a child. I would always see that, and I would always think, it's not those times anymore, but actually as an adult, I do view that as a historic landmark. And also Mariani's Inn, that's always been around. It's like I've always wanted to try. Do they have pasta there or some like prime rib? And it's like, maybe sometime I'll get around to it, but now I'm starting to appreciate it a little bit more, and I don't want that to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yvonne, for those answers. And now it's time for you to give us up to 1 minute closing statement.
Well, I mean, pick the best person that is going to preserve and shape the identity of Santa Clara. I totally appreciate everyone that's applied because it shows that people are passionate, that they want to make sure that we're, spearheading movements here in Santa Clara and Silicon Valley. I know many times they don't want to include Santa Clara as part of the Bay Area, but they sure do mimic our moves over here. San Francisco copies us. Many towns around us copy us. So, pick the best one. And like I said, always have Santa Clara first.
Thank you so much. You're welcome to have a seat. We have 2 applicants for 1 position. Good chance that we pick one applicant and the other applicant ends up on our eligibility list. So that means that a applicant would then be, if you're on the eligibility list, then you would be seated if there is a resignation or someone leaves the commission. So,
Yes.
I have a
Councilmember
question.
Becker?
Yeah, just to follow up, I know we got an email earlier in the week from our city manager to follow up, because I'm wondering, like you were just talking about a runner-up position, that staff will be reaching out to an HLC member that said that they're not going to be participating in the foreseeable future. Have you heard anything in response to this or any next steps that are happening?
No, I have not received any resignations as of yet for that.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
So there's a good chance that there might be another opening soon. Anyways, all right. City clerk, then could we start with Councilmember Hardy so it's fair that we're changing?
Councilmember Hardy, please cast your vote.
Yes, need to.
Councilmember Jane?
Yvonne?
Mayor Gilmore?
Yvonne?
Councilmember Shahal?
Yvonne?
Councilmember Watanabe?
Yvonne.
Vice Mayor Park?
Need to.
Need to? Okay, so that's 4 votes for.
Councilmember Becker?
Oh,
We
sorry.
started. I know, I changed it up.
Need to.
Okay, so that's 4 votes for Yvonne, 3 for need to.
All right, may I have a motion to approve Yvonne
I'll motion to
for
approve.
the Historical Landmarks Commission full term ending June 30th, 2027?
Second.
Can we include in that same motion to have an eligibility list? Or do we have to do it
City clerk?
separately?
We're just supposed to do this.
Do you want them separate?
However, the council would like to do.
Okay, so the motion will be to appoint Yvonne and to have an eligibility list for NITU.
I'll second that.
Second. Jane, okay.
Councilmember Becker, your light's on? Vice Mayor Park? It's one motion.
Understood. It's one motion, so I want to make very clear again that I'm not voting against any one person, but I think the vote will pass, but I am trying to make a statement about the eligibility list. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Is that showing up on your iPads yet?
Not yet. Please register your vote. And that passes 6-1. Thank you. Congratulations to Yvonne. Hang tight, need to, because you might be on as well very soon. It's a very good possibility, but congratulations. Thank you. Thank you both for applying. You've been excellent candidates. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have the Cultural Commission.
So,
And
Madam Mayor, if I may just note for the record that you initially had received 8 applications, and as I indicated in the report, there were
for the Cultural Commission.
correct, and
Okay.
2 had withdrawn before publication of the agenda. As of this morning, we had another applicant that withdrew, so Michelle Castro will not be in the process.
So right now, Michelle's out.
Yes,
Oh, she wasn't on this list. Okay.
I removed her from the list there.
So we have 5 right
Yes.
now, or 4?
We have 5: George, Neetu, Reynaldo, Sri, and Kashal.
Okay.
So George is the first applicant up, and he is
Okay,
online.
George. And George is on Zoom.
Yes.
Do we have you online, George?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you and welcome. Thank you for applying for the Cultural Commission. George, when you're ready, you have up to 3 minutes to tell us about yourself and why you applied for this commission. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Yes, hello everyone. My name is George Chen, and thank you for having this opportunity for the interview for this Cultural Commission. Sorry, I have joined this interview online because currently I'm having travel with my family and friends and visiting my hometown in Taipei, Taiwan, and experience some Oriental culture, and I'm also the tour guide of this group and telling them, explaining them what is special about the Taiwanese culture and what's the differences between Taiwan and China. So sorry, I could not join the interview in person. So here's a brief description about myself. I've been living in the Bay Area and in Santa Clara for many years, and I have a master's degree from University of Southern California, and I really like living in Santa Clara because it's quite convenient and it has all the different culture and all the interesting events, and my wife and my kids all enjoy like all those different events hosted by the city, like the I think the animation, the library, and the sidewalk chalk art events, and the concert in the Central Parks, and all those historical buildings and those landmark and history of the city. So it's quite pleasant living in the Bay Area, and especially in the Santa Clara. And if am I'm appointed as the Cultural Commission, then I'll try my best to enhance, improve the current cultural activities, and also bring my ideas of how to maybe having more fun and to create more diversity to our city. And also, by the way, I'm also a licensed civil engineer, so very resource oriented and also very practical. So I also try to bring the positive and the most valuable thoughts to the commission. Okay, that's it. I think that's just my introduction. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, George. We're going to start with our questions now, and we're going to start with Councilmember Jane.
Thank you for applying, George. What is your favorite activity sponsored by the Cultural Commission, and why is it your favorite?
Surely there's so many to choose, because I think Carrots just have all kinds of activities throughout the year. And I think the most favorable activities for my case, I think, will be the sidewalk chalk art, because during the COVID, it's just so inconvenient. Like everyone has to just keep in the distance learning, and there's not much social interaction with other people. But that chalk art, the sidewalk chalk art activities provide a good opportunity and a channel for my kid, and actually also her friend. They can create their own design and work together, and improve their creativities and do it in an art form to represent what's the meaning of living in Santa Clara and what are the features during the COVID-19 and how do they present that in the limited time frame and the schedule to be able to represent that culture during that specific period. But unfortunately, they were not getting any award. But however, that would still a good opportunity for them to do some collaboration and do some creative work and enjoy and also get involved in this kind of cultural activities. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Our next question is, many cities have walking tours for tourists. Do you have thoughts about adding some for Santa Clara?
Yes, I think the walking tour is a great opportunity to learn about the history and development and even the future for the city. And personally, I've attended the city tour in the city of Petaluma. During the 20s and 30s, they were like the chicken farm for the whole country, and they do have lot of those like transportation history and the farming history, and also a lot of statue related to the like chicken hatchery histories. And there's a present just walking tour around their downtown area, and with the tour guide explaining all the specialty and the development of their city. And if the city of Santa Clara also want to have a city tour, I think that would be a great idea, and there will be a lot of details can be improved, how to implement all the history, the culture, and explaining the development and the landmark of the city, and how to add a dose of the high tech, and how to make it special, and how to present the city well. And I think those are the details can be worked out and to attract more people, even local people, and also the tourists, to understand better about the history and the vision of the city. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Chahal?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for applying, George. What are your thoughts about the state of the public art in Santa Clara?
Yes, the public art, I think currently we have many public art available, like the sculptures, like the painting on the boxes, and also we have a lot of those available. And I like the way that it has a little explanation, and also when you go to the web page, it also tells you a little bit history and have a list of these public arts and where they are. And I think it would be a good thing if we can also have maybe a photo available with those pieces of art, so people know how they look like and know where the exact location they are. So if they want to explore the city more, they can have a better information of where to look them up. And think currently I think it's the city of Santa Clara is doing great, and if we can have more public art available, I think it depends on what would be the goal of implementing more, or what would be the theme, or what would be the cultural influence that we want to emphasize to, so we can have a better approach to improve those public arts. Another example I can think of is I think several years ago, the city of Santa Rosa, they just installed, I think maybe 50 plus statute of the Peanuts characters like Snoopy or Lucy or Charlie Brown, because the other Josh Short, he lived in Santa Rosa for the rest of his life, and he created the Peanuts series. So to memorize these great authors, they just wrote all ideas and have different they install those different statues, and each one has this particular theme. So that also attract a lot of Peanuts fans and also a lot of tourists to maybe just check, and like that. Like recently, people can just post their Instagram photos, and actually that will help to improve the local economics and also to understand the culture of the city. That's just an idea, but for Santa Clara, we can also try to how to maybe improve the current ones, and also think what are the great ideas for the future ones. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Watanabe.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, George. So other cities have celebrations for Diwali, Cherry Blossom Festival, Chinese New Year. What are your thoughts about what Santa Clara is doing in this regard?
Yes, I think currently the Santa Clara is doing well because we do respect different cultures and different people with different cultural backgrounds. So it is great that the city has this kind of festivals based on different cultures, and to have to understand better about each other and to have fun and to try different maybe cultural experience or different food cuisine, and to understand what's the meaning and what's the history about those different ethnic groups, and also these different adding the variety to the current culture. So, and I also think we can also improve that by maybe involving more local organizations, because personally I'm from Taiwan, and we have the Chinese culture in Taiwan, and I know there are a lot of local cultural organization or groups. Some of them have maybe the special so can do the special performance like the line dancing, or some can do like different cultural presentations. So I think just my idea, like maybe we can also involve these other local organizations or groups, so they can have a better way or more comprehensive way to present each cultural activities. I think that may help people just have this maybe one stop to able to understand and experience all the for all the different activities during just this single cultural event. I just a thought, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Park.
Yes, Mr. Chen, thank you very much for applying. I mean, do you think the city has enough cultural events? I mean, what other cultural events would you like to see the city sponsor? You named a few in the last answer, but is there something that you would like to see beyond just cultural? I mean, not cultural, beyond just, well, anyway, is there anything that you'd like to see?
Yes, yeah, thank you for the question. So, yeah, as I mentioned, Santa Clara is quite interesting and a fun place. Like we all have, yeah, actually, before the interview, I just noticed with so many different varieties and different events and cultural activities throughout the year, and I think it's great that people can live here, and that those and events are not too far away from each other, and I think just a great cultural experience when living in the Santa Clara. So if we want to add more, I think that will depend on the capacities, and depends on what theme or focus we can try to do. And because currently I'm visiting in Taiwan, and I noticed they do have those different like animations or different like night markets. And I personally, I think cultural thing is just the way that people they would like to live. For example, if do you think reading is a culture? Maybe not. Maybe reading just a habit. But if everyone's doing the reading, then that can become a culture. So I think to me, the culture can be created and the culture can be developed. And if we want to have more people to get involved in the same activities, and we can create that as a new culture, or we can have something really unique to the city of Santa Clara, and to make it become like more well known and to be more attractive. So that there are a lot of details and a lot of ideas, or that maybe brainstorming need to be involved. But I think or we can just improve on the current ones. So yeah, that's very flexible. So that are very flexible, and we can just maybe work on those details in the future. Yeah, just my stuff. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, George. Now you have up to 1 minute to give us a closing statement when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, thank you. So first of all, thank you for having me and for this interview opportunities. So if I were lucky and being appointed as the cultural, one of the members of the Cultural Commission, then I will try my best to enhance the cultural activities and try to provide my ideas and try to do my best to also improve the cultural activities, not just activities, but also we do also have those sister city activities too. And I also try to improve the current ones and have more ideas to see which new ones can be created and what kind of a culture we want to see in the future to be able to better represent what we want people to know about Santa Clara. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, George. You're welcome to stay online. We'll be making a decision at the end of our 5 interviews for this commission. But if you're not able to stay with us, if you contact our city clerk's office tomorrow, they'll let you know the results of our voting this evening. But thank you very much for applying. Okay, I guess he's off. All right. Next, we have Nitu. If you'd like to come forward, welcome back. Welcome. So you're ready with up to 3 minutes for your opening statement, and you've heard the questions. So whenever you're ready, Nitu.
So I'll give a brief introduction of myself again, as there are new members here as well. So my name is Nitu Garg, and I am, like, when it comes to cultural commissioning, there's a sparkle in my eyes. So it is that I'll say again, I was born in Nairobi, and my early years were there. As a young adult, I moved to India, and then later to United States. So being in Nairobi, I got to experience African culture very closely. And other than that, it was very multicultural. There were people from America, Britain, and other parts of the world as well. So it was, growing up, I got to learn many things from them, their culture observed, and we used to celebrate each other's festivals. And then going back to India, I think many of you must be knowing that India, every state has got its own culture, its own food, dance, clothes, and it's like a mini country in itself. So there I saw, what I learned there was unity in diversity and adaptivity. How people adapt to each other's culture and how they welcome each other. And then later I moved to United States. Here I got many opportunities. Though I would like to share one thing of here, that I got an opportunity to work in a nonprofit organization, nonprofit childcare center. And there at a management position. And there I saw in the staff, we had people from 13 different countries as the first generation immigrants. So it was that beautiful, it will be such a rich experience for these children, because growing up, even I came from there. So I said, how can we promote more cultural activities, and how can we, take out best of everyone and give these children the experience they deserve, being in such a cultural diverse place. So I promoted, first I promoted monthly potluck lunches for the staff, and then it was divided as I had a few people, like there were South American staff members, they prepared their lunches, and that's how like monthly lunches we promoted. So this was a very good way to learn about each other's culture. And one thing, when there is a special festival of yours, come in your national dress or your cultural attire. So the children also, they had questions, they were curious about it. Later we promoted Chinese New Year in the school, and all these, I think my time is getting up and I have too much, so okay, I'll just stop. Because
Could incorporate some of that in your answers, the questions. All right, well, thank you for that. Councilmember Becker, you have the first question.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for applying again. My question for you is, what is your favorite activity sponsored by the Cultural Commission, and why is it your favorite?
I'll say Art and Wine Festival. And why I like it is because you can see the whole Santa Clara, the vibe there, how multicultural we are, and how it is, the whole setup of how well planned and the setup of that festival, and how it is well planned it is for every age group. They have got something of their interest, seeing new vendors, and how it is organized.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Hardy.
Yes, thank you for applying. Many cities have walking tours for tourists. Do you have thoughts about adding some for Santa Clara?
Yes, I would. But I'm not so sure about the walking tour, but maybe we can have a small mini bus ride, because it's so from end to end, it's far. So maybe we can, there's Levi's Stadium that is modern, then we have got Great America, then the first University of California, Santa Clara University, and then some cultural, like architecturally rich houses and buildings, and we have got so much history attached, the Central Park. So yes, of course, there should be some walking tours and some other tours as well for Santa Clara.
Thank you. Councilmember Jane?
Thank you, Neetu. What are your thoughts about the state of public art in Santa Clara?
I would say that yes, it is being promoted. We have quite a few things. It is being promoted by Box Art and providing other murals. The St. Thomas Walking Trail has got some murals on it and all, but it still needs, like, as I have traveled a lot of places and I've seen other places as well, so I think it needs a bit of an improvement and encouragement with, maybe we can have more sculptures on famous landmarks. And not even that, if I go down on El Camino, I see that some shopping plazas have got some kind of a sculpture there. So, it makes the city more vibrant, and maybe we can promote some more. As we, looking at the demographics, we have got, Santa Clara has got, I think there are very less minorities. Everyone is at the same, the demographics is, we have got quite a few people, so promoting their art, their culture. My son just visited to Japan, and he sent me some pictures there where he showed me Doraemon and all these sculptures on the roadside. So this is something that Santa Clara can think about, having more sculptures and some art provided.
Very good. So other cities have celebrations for Diwali, Cherry Blossom, Chinese New Year, other events. What are your thoughts about Santa Clara and what we're doing in this regard.
So, yes, we have to add more diverse cultural activities to Santa Clara's, to promote culture in Santa Clara. It can be Diwali, as our sister city Sunnyvale is doing it. And it draws quite a few crowd. It's like, we get to know, and then maybe we can promote many of these festivals where everyone, we can learn and see other people's culture. And yes, Cultural Commission is a very, if they promote it, it will be really good. Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Chahal?
Welcome back. Do you think we have enough community events? Give an example of other community events you would like to see, in addition to, you mentioned Art and Wine Festival or something like that. Thank you.
I would like to see other community events, like maybe we can promote African drumming circles in the park in the summer, or we can, as I said, that we can promote some festivals that the different cultures living in Santa Clara have, like Diwali, and then maybe Chinese New Year, and some Mexican heritage culture, and maybe some culinary competitions we can have in those, so that we also get to taste other foods as well. And because I think there are many ethnic groups in Santa Clara, so it's just to contact them or ask them, just ask them to come and promote their culture, and if the city can support, it will be great, so that each other can learn from, everyone can learn from each other.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. I think that's the end of all of our questions, Neetu. So if you'd like to give us your 1-minute closing statement.
Okay. So I would say that you choose whoever is the right fit for this position, but yes, I am interested, and as I said that, talking about culture and who I am, like my whole thing, I can promote it, and it brings a sparkle in my eyes, and yes. I will do anything that is required to promote and include every religion, or I can say every culture that we have in Santa Clara, and devote my time as well towards this commission.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for that excellent interview. You're welcome to stay until the end when we vote, or the rest of the night if you'd like as well. Thank you, Neetu. Appreciate it. All right, so City Clerk, we have Ronaldo. Do we have him here?
We do not have Ronaldo.
No?
He did confirm participating, but he is not present.
Or on Zoom.
Or on Zoom. And we have reached out and left a message. So if you'd like to just move on with Sri.
Okay, we'll go ahead. If he comes, and that's fine. We can circle back. So Sri, please come forward. Welcome back again. You know the drill, right? 3 minutes. We'd like to hear more from you, and then we have questions for you.
Absolutely. First name is Srinivasan, last name is Manivarnan. And I was born in southern part of India, Chennai. Until age of 19, I never had a chance to leave my state, even my own hometown. And after 19, I never stopped traveling. And I started my career in hospitality, and then especially in cruise lines. I worked for the largest cruise lines, Carnival Cruise Lines, and the Titanic, the company that owned Titanic. And it was a good opportunity for me. I find that as a process where I had an opportunity to work with people from different culture, different countries, and speak different languages, and people of different colors and different ethnicity, different background. And that was a process. I found that as a process, and it really shaped me and molded me as a person, what I am today. And during the process, the kind of person I became, the character that I built, and the courage that I developed is what helped me to come to the place where I am today. And it taught me how to learn, and learn how to give as much as I learned to get from others. And that is where I am. And also, during my stint at the cruise lines, I also worked I served many roles, and one of which is health, safety, hygiene, environmental, and welfare board member. And also, as a part of my routine, I also go out as a tour guide, and by choice. And I had an opportunity. I worked for the cruise lines, which has a special theme. You wake up in a different country, where every day, morning 5 o'clock, we wake up in a different country where we are exposed to different culture and language, and everything is different. And also worked as a sommelier, where I had an opportunity to travel around the world, visited over 500 vineyards and tasted 2,000 wines. And behind every label of wine, there is a story. There is a terroir, there is a climate, there is a weather, culture, and the stories and the histories of queens and kings and queens who ruled, and so on and so forth. And so during this process, I became a person who started embracing the diversity and also the unity. Like Neetu mentioned, that there should be a focus. I realize the value of diversity and also the unity. Unity is nothing but it should reflect the true characters of Californians, and honorable even in our dealings, faithful to our commitments, loyal to our friends by turns, courageous warriors, compassionate neighbors, and transformative thinkers. And this is what Silicon Valley is all about. And when we think about promoting anything or coming up with any strategies, this should reflect.
Thank you. First question, Councilmember Watanabe.
Thank you, Mayor. So, Sri, what is your favorite activity sponsored by the Cultural Commission, and why is it your favorite?
The concert in the park, because that is an open space. Unlike any other activities, it is targeted at closed group, a few people, whereas the concert in the park gives you the ability to bring people and a group of people, unknown people together, and give them the opportunity to meet, create more interactions and human connections. That is far more important. Every time we do that, and more often, we connect more people and create more connections.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Park.
Thank you very much again, and thank you very much for staying.
My pleasure.
Many cities have walking tours for tourists. Do you have any thoughts about adding some for Santa Clara?
Absolutely. As I mentioned, when I was at the cruise lines, I've done more than 100 or 200 city tours in Europe, Mediterranean, and even in Caribbean. What I realized is every city we have a lot of histories. We have a lot of histories in transformative thinking, and the ideas that we developed transformed the world and transformed the humanity around the world. So we should focus on building, strengthening those histories, and also add more vitality before initiating it, and it is must.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Councilmember Becker.
Thank you for applying again. My question for you are, what are your thoughts about the state of public art in Santa Clara?
Absolutely. I also reviewed this question, and I think, like I said, I visited more than 50% with major cities in the world. And what I realized is people forget what we said and what we did, but they never forget how we made them feel. So when people come here, they should feel the authenticity and the true values, and it's not about what we sell, it's about what we truly stand for. So that is the value experience that we should create when any visitor come to this place. And promoting, even allowing these arts would distract people from the actual values what we are trying to stand here.
Thank you. Councilmember Hardy?
Yes. Other cities have celebrations for Diwali, cherry blossom, Chinese New Year. What are your thoughts about what Santa Clara is doing in this regard?
I also looked at a lot of events that we have organized in the past, and which I never had a chance to. I never got notified or had a chance to even be aware of what is going on. And in between our tight schedules, I don't think any of us would be able to constantly look for the events. So a lot of things were not notified. So we are doing a lot of things, but we can add, but we should do it in layers and in a way that something which would entertain everyone and also touch the personal aspects of different cultures and a different community. And it should be done in layers, and we need to add more cultures and events specific to each community. Like I said, some events should embrace diversity, and also more specific events that would embrace unity.
Thank you. Councilmember Jain.
Thank you, Srinivasan. Do you think we have enough community events? Give an example of other community events that you would like to see in the city of Santa Clara.
We are doing a good job, but we can do better. And for example, in a commercial aspect, where, like I said, I worked in the cruise lines where it is easy to create customers in any business. The hardest part is retaining them. They do a great job in retaining them. In fact, truth be told, many seniors sold their home and moved to cruise lines on board permanently because they see the values, they see the entertainment, they see the how they are captivated on a daily basis. So there is more to do, and I do have the clarity. I've also included some thoughts in the other, even though I submitted some notes for the previous one, also have some thoughts and strategies for cultural promotions as well.
Thank you. So time's up for your 1-minute closing statement, Sri.
Sure. As I said, I was born in India and lived in England and then Germany and Canada before moving to US. And I see myself as a global person who embraces diversity and also promotes unity, and with a strong emphasis on vitality, and very sensitive to cross-culturalism and humanity. And I'm here at your disposal, whether you're choosing me or going with another person, whether I'm here on the next 6 months on a validity, I'm always here to help you at any time. You could reach me at any time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation, and we'll be making a decision very shortly. So
Thank you.
Please stay with us. All right, next we have Kaushal. Please come forward. Welcome.
Good evening, Council.
So nice to see you. So when you're ready, we're ready for your 3-minute opening statement.
Thank you for having me here. I am Kaushal Vasne. I born and brought up in India in a middle-class family in a small town. I never thought that I will be moving here and I will be living here. Means it was not my plan. It was perhaps the universe has this plan for bring me here. So my work brought me here in 98, and even then I didn't have a plan that I will be staying here for permanently, but again, I attained permanent residency in 2005 and also got my MBA from Santa Clara University. That's why I started loving Santa Clara because earlier we were either at home or at office. And that's where I roam around in the university campus and came to realize the art, culture, and all those things there. And that is something has gone into my blood. Okay, yes, this city promote diversity. It has and then later I came to know that it's today in Santa Clara, I think about 50% or 45% population is born outside US. So this is that's where the Cultural Commission job is becoming more and more important for this one. That was my thought. But regarding my work, I work for a cybersecurity company, and where I found that people are adopting the things just out of fear. And so that's where, first of all, we need to really understand what will be the best use case. Do they really need this kind of solution? And same thing I have been applying for everywhere in my life. regarding activity in my social life. So when I came here, initially it was all emptiness for me. I had no connection. So I started involving in some of the social activity as well as the charities. So it started with the fundraising activities for using a small organization which was doing a charity for schools in India. Now India does not need those things from outside. It is self-sustained. Same thing with the Sinkrai Foundation, did some charity thing, just a foot soldier volunteer. And when I went home back home, then I adopted two very schools in very poor neighborhood. It is very easy to adopt them. And gradually, I also joined a national organization which is work for youth development program like HSS USA, and I am currently holding divisional financial and logistic post there. And in that post, I worked during the COVID time. Like COVID time, we have worked on creating masks at home by sewing. So I did all those things there. And prior to COVID, I was also involved in the project called Annapurna, where we provided food to homeless through community kitchens.
All right, very good. Thank you. So I have the first question for you. What's your favorite activity that's sponsored by the Cultural Commission and why?
Yes, so this concert in the park was something which it was not advertised, but we just went there in the park. We found that some event was happening. So concert in the park, we continued to go when my kids were small. And I got some little bit challenges with the kids. So in the beginning, up to 2010, we were continuously going the concert in the park, in the Central Park, because it's very close to my home. So that was my favorite one, because it is something where you can go without any preparation. It is as if you are visiting park and you can enjoy the festivities there.
Thank you. Councilmember Chahal?
Thanks for applying, Mr. Kaushal. Question is, many cities have walking tours for tourists. Do you have thoughts about adding some for Santa Clara?
Yeah, I really have thoughts, because I had never actually got to know that there are some walking tours and sculptures there until I clicked the map on the city website. But I also came to know about all those arts when I was near my office. There's this walking place near this creek, St. Thomas Aquinas Creek, and that's where I found under the bridge there are some artwork there. Then I started thinking about it. Is it there? It is not being advertised. Similarly, walking on the street, we can see on that trail, we can see those lot of artwork near the crossings. So something I think it is not either advertised, or it is not really easy to have a safe walkway in the city. So that will be part of I would say, planning commission to make such sort of walkways which are easy to walk, which are welcoming. This is something where we need to start putting thoughts.
Thank you. Councilmember Watanabe?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Kajal, for applying. What are your thoughts about the state of public art in Santa Clara?
Yeah, I would say state of public art is it needs more promotions, as well as it needs to be promoted in small ethnic groups, because many ethnic groups, they generally I see there are a lot of talent in the art and the creation of art, but they don't know where to take their talent, and where we have to create those channels and advertise that, yes, we are here. And it is some sort of thing, but I will say it's a promotion of this, opportunities are missing. So promoting these, that, okay, you are welcome to create, this is the place to create the arts for, to show in the public place.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Park?
Again, thank you very much for applying. Other cities have celebrations for Diwali, for Cherry Blossom Festival, Lunar New Year. What are your thoughts about what Santa Clara is doing in this regard, and what could we do better?
Thank you for this question. This is something close to my heart, because even being in the multicultural city, and there are 13 or 20 countries are represented here, or cultures are represented, but I think again the citizens have no idea that how to showcase their culture. And all is needed from city, not too much of the spending, but just a little bit of support. So smaller events, and I would actually invite those ethnic groups in the cultural commission that, okay, come with your ideas. And I would say it should be supported by community, funded by community, but supported by city at minimal level.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Councilmember Becker.
Thank you for applying. And do you think we have enough community events? Give an example of other community events that you would like to see.
Thank you for this question. Yes, this is, I think I will take a segue from the previous question here, that I would say community events are not enough. Giving the number of, cultures represented in Santa Clara, again, I would invite the community leaders or the leaders of ethnic groups to brainstorm the ideas that what are the events we can do. At the same time, we should not be overwhelmed with so many events. Like if we can have one event representing one culture, culture means the celebration and the food and all those things. That's what Neetu and Sri mentioned. But again, it should be ideas should be coming from those leaders of societies, and city should be just supporting. In fact, when we talked about my favorite event like culture and concert in the park, it is something which we can complement. Either we can replace or add in those kind of small events.
Okay, thank you. I think that's the extent of all of our questions. When you're ready, you're up to 1 minute closing statement.
Yeah, sir, with regard to, thank you for giving me opportunity for this interview. This was my first interview here, and it's again an experience for me. So with my closing remark would be that City of Santa Clara need to work on the cultural commission in a way that by inviting more and more ethnic groups here to get their ideas that how do we represent them, and same thing about the promotion. So the promotion part is missing here. That is something my main worry here. And in case of if I am selected, it is something like I generally do not differentiate. My mantra is do not differentiate people based on their faith or social status, all those things. Everybody should be treated equally, and we should also be encouraging everyone to share their their culture and the history here.
Thank you very much, Kaushal. Appreciate it. Excellent interview. If you'd like to take a seat, we will be voting very shortly. City Clerk, do we have Ronaldo here?
So an update on that, he did email me and said he is withdrawing. He will not be participating.
Okay, so we have we had 4 interviews. And I was going to ask the council if you'd like to pick 2 instead of 1, because it is 4. It feels like we need, are we okay with that? So can we pick 2 applicants that you'd like to move forward, and then we'll see who may be selected possibly, and then who could be on an eligibility list. So,
would you like me to begin with Councilmember Jane this time?
Jane, yes.
Councilmember Jane, please cast your vote for your 2 top.
Yeah, Neetu and George.
Mayor Gilmore,
Kaushal and Sri.
Councilmember Shahal,
Neetu and Kaushal.
Councilmember Watanabe,
Sri and Kaushal.
Vice Mayor Park,
Kaushal and George.
Councilmember Becker,
I just want to confirm we have 2 we're picking, but 2 people dropped out, was it? Okay, so mine are Srinivasan, sorry I said your name wrong, and Neetu.
Councilmember Hardy,
Neetu and Srinivasan.
Okay, so we have a 3-way tie with Neetu, Sri, and Kaushal. 4 votes each for them.
Okay.
Would you like to deliberate and take another?
Pardon me?
Would you like to deliberate and go another round to break that tie for the 3?
Should we pick 1 each?
Okay.
All right. I'll go first. My turn.
Okay. Mayor Gilmore,
Kaushal.
Councilmember Shahal,
Neetu.
Councilmember Watanabe.
Kaushal.
Vice Mayor Park.
Me too.
Councilmember Becker.
Need to.
Councilmember Hardy.
Need to.
Councilmember Jane.
Need to.
So is there a motion for NITU and a eligibility for Kaushal?
I'll make a motion to appoint Neetu, and Mr. Kaushal would be on eligibility list for 6 months.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second for that. NITU also had a good chance of getting on the other commission, so I'm going to ask which one she would like better. It sounds, by your comments, maybe this one would be your choice. Okay, very good. I just wanted to check because that's why I figured you'd get on the other one. But okay, so just double check. I know you were very animated about this one and seemed passionate. So we have a motion and a second on that. Please register your vote.
No. Okay.
It's not accepting. Raj is trying to do yes, but it's not
Yes,
accepting.
There it goes.
It says yes.
Oh, it did now.
Oh, it did.
And that passes unanimously. So congratulations, Neetu. Congratulations, Kaushal, on the eligibility list. And the eligibility list means if someone steps down, resigns, if there's an opening in the next 6 months, then you're automatically placed in that opening. So thank you very much. All right. Next, we have the Planning Commission. And we have one partial term that's ending
2020.
June 30th, 2024. So this is a partial term, and then the person would be eligible for also 2 full terms. So this could be a possible possibly, if reappointed, a 10-year appointment, possibly. Okay, so, yes, go ahead.
Assistant City Manager, I think earlier you had said that 2 people were not eligible because they were not registered voters. Who are those? Or who do we have eligible now?
So the 4 that you have before you are the eligible applicants. That's Eric, Jeannie, Raquel, and Kaushal.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, we have them before us.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with Eric. I'd like to please come forward. Welcome.
Thank you.
You can start with your up to 3-minute opening statement. Tell us about yourself and why you've applied, and then we have those questions that I hope were sent to you ahead of time.
Yes, they were.
So that you have those, and then up to a 1-minute closing statement. So whenever you're ready, Eric.
Thank you very much. Thank you, council members. My name is Eric Crutchlow. I've been in Santa Clara since 1984. I'm currently a senior product manager at a cybersecurity company called Exahop. And basically, as a cybersecurity company, we deal with all the different threats and things that are going on. As a senior product manager, I've been responsible for products that generate revenue beyond $700 million at times. And as such, I am responsible for looking at what we need to do in the industry. I go talk to customers from different levels, from all the way from CEOs, all the way down to the people that work in the Security Operations Center, to make sure that our products are effective and are doing what they need to do. And as such, it helps me to be able to look at a planning commission type appointment where I can help give you recommendations based on what's going on in the communities, get the kind of information that people need to be able to make sure their input is given to you, that you are well informed, and to do the research that I do in my everyday job. Now, specifically, how does that apply to here in Planning Commission? What experience do I have? I have been the president of the Woodsboro Homeowners Association, which is at 972 Kiley. It's 477 units, represents about 1,500 people. And I was there during the wonderful times when the Kaiser building was being taken down And I went to the city and spoke a lot to different people here, especially Karen Hardy, who at that time was on the Planning Commission, and worked to make sure that everything that was being done was in a positive experience for my community. So in doing that for 7 years, one of the things that I was very successful at is we got everybody organized. We had problems. We had reserves under $1 million. By the time I left, we had $5 million in reserves. We made sure that everything was going to be paid for. We knew what the city needed. We knew what we needed. We knew what the county would want or what the state would want, so that everything was organized. So my experience as a senior product manager helps me get the information that I need so that I can advise the city council. I advise my C-level people at my corporation to make sure that they have the information that they need, that they can make the decisions that they need. And if they make the wrong decisions, I'm the one that gets it. So if I say, hey, this is what we're going to do, we have a 4-quarter rolling plan, I make sure that we deliver on that plan, and I say, hey, here are the things that are going to happen, here are the things that here might be risky. So I like that ability to do that, and I think that I can apply that to the city here and be helpful in the Planning Commission.
Thank you very much, Eric. We're going to start our questions with Councilmember Hardy.
Yes. What development in Santa Clara is a good example of planning and why?
The Santa Clara Square, I think, is probably one of the best ones. As an example, it gives a great example of mixed use. You have an environment where you have stores, you have good residential, you have mixed use with retail, you have great walkways, environmentally very green. People can take nice walks. I've taken walks there at times. I really love that place. And it's an example of where you can have a community, like a little community, and also you can go on bicycles to wherever you need to get to. With everybody working from home, don't really need it that much, but hey, you need it when you want it, right? VTA is there, Caltrans is there. It makes it real easy for people to get to where they need to be, which I think is great because you keep more people off the street, so to speak, right? If I can get to where I need to get to, and if I'm working from home, I have a great place. If I need to go get a gallon of milk, yeah, it's Whole Foods, but hey, it's good, right? So that's why I like that and the ability for the future sustainability that they have brought into it. So overall, I think it's an effective planning. It's something that's going to continue to grow. And I think it's a good example of what we can do here in Santa Clara as well as anywhere else where people need to try and figure out how do we get this like LA type experience of everything you need to do is 20 miles away. How do I get it into like 20 yards?
Thank you. Councilmember Jane.
Thank you, Eric. What do you believe your role as planning commissioner would be?
Number one, it's to advise you and make sure that I give you the best information possible. If there's any questions that you have, I haven't done my job. Now, that being said, of course, there's always going to be questions and such, but I like to make sure that I have prepared everything in advance. So obviously, we're advisors. We do not necessarily make the decision. We tell, hey, City Council, here's what we've got, here's what we recommend. So in doing master planning, for example, going out, talking to the community, making sure that we can get all the information that's possible. Obviously, you do different sessions where you have people come here and talk as well, but we should have already given you a good sense of what people are thinking and why are they thinking that. And also give you a good sense, here are the good things that can happen, here are the downsides, so that you can have that ability to make that decision as to what do we need to consider and be able to give feedback on how to improve that whole process as Planning Commission. I think one of the key areas for me is, again, metrics. When I put out a plan, one of the things I also have to give is I have to give what are the key metrics that we're going to measure success by. And I've been kind of questioning that here, and maybe you can educate me at some other time, but I would like to know, when I've seen certain plans, I haven't seen that part of the plan in there. What are the key measurements for success? And I would like to be able to happen to give that to you, so as we do things, especially in a master plan, which is more than one phase, as we go through and implement, are we succeeded in what we thought we were going to do? And if not, why not? If we did succeed, great, good, let's go forward. If there are other phases that are coming along, do we need to adjust those?
Eric, what are your thoughts about the El Camino Real specific plan?
given that I live so close to it. I think that if we still apply some of the things that have been learned from Santa Clara Square, I think that makes a real good plan. It's a master plan, which I think is great because everybody can say, here's what you're going to do in the short term, here's what you plan on doing in the long term. Everybody gets, an opinion. The thing is, you have the fun job of taking everybody's opinion and saying, what are we actually going to do? Not everybody is going to be happy. As part of the Planning Commission, I think we need to be able to give you, and I'm sure you've already gotten, the opinions about why certain things should be done. Like there's been a lot of questions about why the bicycle lanes are going to be there, why are we going to widen the sidewalks, why are we going to make it smaller for the cars to be in there. I think as long as that's explained, there are good and bad things about it. For example, right now, obviously, I would not ride a bike on El Camino. It's dangerous. And I do ride bicycles. Where I live near Calabasas, there's a big bike lane, but I don't see it used a lot. So I want to make sure if it's going to be there, people are going to use it. And I think they will, because El Camino is a main thoroughfare, but it is a dangerous thoroughfare. And I have been hit on a bike before. It's not fun. So I like the idea of the way it was going to be put in. I like the crosswalks that are there, the hawk lights that you've been putting in. This is great. So I think it's one of those where, great, as things get developed, make sure we measure success, make sure that it's working as it should be. So the land use, great use of the land, but we have to do something about it because, there is a lot of blight on El Camino, right? But we also have to be very respectful of people's businesses and what they have invested into it and make sure everybody is included. So I like the fact that we're trying to incorporate that into it. I have talked to different people who have been there for years and had to leave. It's unfortunate, but if you don't make certain changes, what's the old saying? You can't make an omelet unless you crack a few eggs. As long as it's balanced. So what I like about it is, especially the stewardship for the environment and what you're trying to do with it, the community engagement, it's been good, and people have been active in it, which I think is excellent. But again, I'm glad I'm not on the city council right now, having to answer those questions to people why we're doing it. But as a planning commission, we need to be the first brunt of that, I think, and take in those questions and make sure that you're well aware of what people are asking and make sure that we've given you enough advice as to why this is a good thing to do.
Thank you. Councilmember Chahal.
Thank you for applying, Mr. Eric. Do you believe we need more fees and TDM measures for developers to abide by and basically to improve our transportation system?
Oh, I loved this question when I saw this. This was one of my favorite. There's affordability concerns, okay? So if the cumulative effect of the construction and the TDM fees significantly increase the cost of development, it really can impact affordable housing. You got contractors that are the small guys that do a lot of work, and if they get hit with fees, they're going to try and pass it on if they can. If they can't, they may not be able to do business. That means that their crew can't work. They're going to be unemployed. I don't want to hurt the small business guy. The larger corporations might be able to handle it, but they're going to just pass it on. And in the end, you have higher fees. So there has to be a balance somewhere. You have other cities that may just say, hey, listen, we'll make it easier for you to come over here and stay out of Santa Clara, and life is good. So the cost-benefit analysis that needs to be prepared also needs to be sure that it takes into consideration all these factors, because the last thing you want to do is charge fees that hurt people's job creation and such. But at the same time, you can't say, look, we got to charge for certain things. It has to be reasonable, it has to be understood. But if we do it in a way that's just saying, yeah, we want you to all pay for it, that's just passing the buck down to the ultimate consumer, which is like my sons who are trying to rent houses here in Santa Clara, and I've talked to them and they've told me what they're paying. I can't believe it. So it will get passed down to those people. It will hurt people's jobs if it's done the wrong way. So my thing is, yes, we need those fees, but they have to be reasonable and they have to be judged in the light of what the effect overall is going to be.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. So it's time for your up to 1 minute closing statement.
Well, thank you very much for considering me for this opportunity. I really enjoy it. I love giving back. It's a challenge to do the Planning Commission, I think. It's a good way to learn the city and what's going on and making sure that your job is a lot easier to do. I need to be able to learn about what's going on in the city, and part of what I would say that I would commit to doing is making sure that I talk to the Planning Commission, or I'm sorry, the Planning Commission, the Planning Department, and ask them, what do they think of what's going on? Talk to developers. Everything, if I talk to people, obviously I would make sure that everybody knows, here are the people I'm going to talk to. I would ask the rest of the committee, please come with me and let's find out what are the problems people are having. I think that's the most important thing. If we meet once a month, understand, but we should spend a little time talking to the people that this really impacts. So, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Excellent interview. Thank you very much. And thank you for applying. You're welcome to wait. We're going to be making our decision after the end of the interviews.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have Jenny. Hello, Jenny. Welcome. So, hi. That's you under there. Okay. So when you're ready, up to 3 minutes for an opening statement, and then we'll start with our questions.
Okay, thank you. First and foremost, thank you so much for taking the time to consider me for this role. My name is Jenny de Guzman. I have lived in California my whole life. I grew up not too far from here in Lodi, where it's a really small, close-knit community. When I moved to the Bay Area, I was shell-shocked, to say the least. I came to school for San Jose State, where I met my husband, Salvador. He is a born and bred Santa Clarian, and he really showed me the perks of Santa Clara and how it was a tight-knit community in the Bay Area. Together, we are raising 2 beautiful children. My daughter is 7 years old, named Virginia, and my son is 10 months old, Dominic. We have rented throughout the Bay Area, including Santa Clara, and 5 years ago, we were blessed to be able to buy our own home in Santa Clara. For the last 12 years, I've been working at a small company, small business, where we build automated testing handlers. I started out as an intern building machines. I then worked up and was promoted to start programming the lasers and cameras, and now my current role is I'm a CAD designer making customized components for the machines. It's just been a true blessing working in a small business when I'm surrounded by such multinational corporations all around. And I really got to experience how integral and important these small businesses can really be for a community. I have also always tried to be part of my community. I got my real estate license. I am the president of my daughter's school PTA, and I also serve on the school advisory committee. It's all of these experiences collectively have really given me the drive to be more part of my community, and I really want to join the Planning Commission to really get more involved with this. I've seen how Santa Clara has grown in the 10 years I've lived here and been a resident, as well as my husband's stories about Santa Clara growing up, farms surrounding him, 237 having a stop sign. It's pretty crazy when I think about that, seeing as it now. I see where the city has been. I see how the city council's really made the residents come first. And I also see how we really want to shape it for the future use. I want to be a part of that. Thank you very much. I'm excited to answer any questions you have.
Okay, we have 4 questions. Hopefully you were delivered those questions ahead of time.
Yes.
All right, very good. So we're going to start with Councilmember Watanabe.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Jenny. What development in Santa Clara is a good example of planning, and why?
I'd have to say for finished development, it would be the Santa Clara Square Marketplace. It's great for walkability for all those high-density housing, the grocery stores, the businesses, as well as prime location for commuters, right, on 101 and taking Bowers down. However, I would say that I'm most excited about the Franklin Mall. I see how we're really putting in high-density housing, proximity to Santa Clara University, as well as it becoming our new transportation hub. That I could see it where if we could take the blueprint that we used for the Santa Clara Market, or Santa Clara Square Marketplace, and applied it towards the Franklin Mall, which is part of, I know, the general plan, I think that would honestly become my favorite development that we've done so far. I'm very excited. I go there frequently, but we've really made some beautiful places in Santa Clara recently, and I feel that Franklin Mall has its turn.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Park.
Thank you very much for applying. What do you believe your role as planning commissioner would be?
So I know that the Plan Commission, we are to take City Council's vision and make recommendations on that vision. And it would only be using my judgment to enact that vision. It's not about me to decide if I want something there. It's about me recognizing your vision for the city overall, and if the people coming forward asking for certain permits and permissions, if that fits into your vision for Santa Clara.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Becker?
Thank you for applying. As a former planning commissioner, it's a really great role. Do you have any thoughts about the El Camino specific area plan?
Yes. If I had to use one word, I'd say ambitious. I got to read the full plan when I saw that question. I'm very excited about it. You really get to see where it's going with the Santa Clara Town Center on Scott and El Camino. That's fantastic. And I think that the plan around Moonlight Center is also fantastic, also mainly because of its location. It is dead center for us. So you get people from the South and North Santa Clara getting to go there and shop there and really support the community, as well as businesses help support the city. One thing that is a little bit worrying is the Lawrence Square, because it will be fantastic for bringing in business because of its location right on Lawrence and El Camino. However, I feel like maybe more Sunnyvale residents would probably use it since it's right on our edge. But again, the way that it currently sits, it could absolutely get revitalized and be a great thing for Santa Clara and really put us on the map for people wanting to come to our area on El Camino and not maybe somewhere else with it. But as it stands, I have to say Moonlight Center and Santa Clara Town Center are definitely my favorites just because of their prime location for us.
Thank you. Councilmember Hardy?
Yes. Do you believe we need more fees and TDM measures for developers to abide by, or any transportation improvements?
Yes, but however, I do think that TDM measures need to be levied based on the projected area's density and need. For instance, if you have a large campus that's going to have thousands of employees, obviously having more high transit options to reduce commuters on the road is great, versus Santa Clara has a lot of data centers. You get maybe 10 people working there. You don't necessarily need to take that much more transit centers or high transit for it. However, I think fees need to be based on different metrics. It should take into account the benefits or the detraction of the city. And again, for instance, if you have single family or multi-family homes versus high density, well, one is contributing towards property tax and the other one, we didn't pass that bill, so they're not contributing property tax. So you kind of have to weigh, are we getting a benefit out of this, or are we going to be spending more money for not as much coming in for us? Because like we all know, everyone has to go to school and you have to support them, and the roads will be used more. So it is definitely something where it's not a catch-all. It needs to be based off how it's going to be used.
All right, thank you. And I think that's the extent of our questions. So whenever you're ready for your 1-minute closing statement.
Thank you. Thank you again for considering me for this role. It's been really exciting. I got to go to my very first in-person planning commission last week, and I was actually on the edge of my seat for it. I really enjoyed it. I like to think that my experiences and my desire to be part of the community makes me a suitable candidate. I've got to see how Santa Clara has grown. The finished developments of Santa Clara Marketplace and Santa Clara Town Center, and the in-progress development of related in North Santa Clara are just really showcasing the potential of our city, and I really want to be a part of that. I want to help shape Santa Clara into this beautiful city that, this El Camino plan as well as the general plan really states that it's going to be. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Excellent interview, and you're welcome to wait with us. We'll be making a decision very shortly. Thank you for your interview. Okay. Next, we have Rachel. Please come forward. Hello, Rachel. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you tonight?
Pretty good, thank you.
Good, good.
Really excellent. It is very nice to be here.
Oh, it's nice for us to see people in person as well. So I really miss that a lot and enjoy it. So thank you for joining us this evening. So you've heard everyone else so far. If you'd like to start with your up to 3-minute introduction, tell us about yourself and why you applied for this commission.
Oh, yes, okay. Well,
Can you speak in the microphone?
Yes,
We have
thank
people
you.
at home watching.
Yes, oh,
Thank you.
Yes, I come from a family that has been involved in political and community matters all my life, and I would like to follow in those footsteps. And in all my life, I've been involved in making whatever I'm involved in better. And I've been in this area for a long time since I grew up here, and I was here since the age of 7, and I've seen a lot of the developments, including Rivermark near where I live. And, well, I have a background that has a lot of important planning in it. For example, from the community level to even the country level in Athens, Greece, where I gave advice to the American Hellenic Chamber of Commerce president, and I'm a member of that. And I'm the one who first put the proposal in alone for Victoria's Secret to first open in Athens, Greece, and Greece in general. And, well, I have a lot of ideas, especially because my background is so wide. My resume includes so many different areas that I feel that my background can help give ideas when some people come. They may not think of things. Since I have also epidemiology research, and I'm expert in research in any area, and but the biggest thing, I think, is satisfying the community besides meeting the general plan, because I have a great respect for Mr. Curtin, Dan Curtin, and I have most of his books. But I think it's very important to first, you have to, in all the planning, you have to start and make sure you follow the general plan. That's the number one thing. And besides, I also have a background in psychology and sociology. And so also with the community, and make sure the community needs are met. And so I just really would like to help make Santa Clara even better than it is, because I see some places where we have to think about the developments that go into, like, say, I think I may have gone far. The El Camino, it's like you have to be careful what you put in certain areas with the neighborhoods, because it might not fit. And I know we have a lot of up and mobile people who are different types of people than the people who already live in those areas. And so I'm sure people are taking into that account, but I would just want to make sure I'm one of them.
All right.
Yes.
Very good. And I know you'll have an El Camino question. I can predict that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Councilmember Jane, first question.
Yeah, which development in Santa Clara is a good example of planning, and why?
Okay. Well, I have two, but I first start, since I grew up there. Rivermark, where I remember from the beginning, even the sign that went out there, but I know, I can see how it fits. But first, it meets the general plan needs, but also the community needs, and it's just perfect for that place. The multi-dimensional part in the services to the community, as the library and the marketplace that fits the people, and I later on, like in this, I found about the awards in it. I'm not surprised. But then also, I'm thinking of the El Camino one, but that remains to be seen because it is it will eventually happen, but it's going to be difficult to meet and satisfy and expensive. but now I can say for sure, I already first where I grew up, and it's the place I even went to when I first learned my mom passed away. They're your friends. You can go there and, here's the newspaper. I'll show you where it is, where the obituary is. They're really friends there, and it's a very wonderful place besides meeting general plan needs. Yes. So.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, Rachel, what do you believe your role as a planning commissioner would be?
I believe the greatest role is advisory for the developments, for new developments, and anything that's in that fashion. And also, let's see. Well, yes, I've already said, it's the big thing also, to assure that the general plan needs are addressed, because that's very important, and it's really in my idea, and also Mr. Curtin's the first thing. Yes. So.
Thank you. Councilmember Chahal.
Thank you for applying, Ms. Rachel. Do you have thoughts on El Camino Real specific area plan? I know you touched a little bit of it, but you can go in details.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, it is really wonderful, and it will be wonderful to see when I'm sure it will be finished. And it's going to require a lot of thought, because I know the traffic control, because those buses go by there so fast, it makes you afraid just to see them. So, I believe that it's, like I mentioned, a person's going to have to be careful about the community compatibility with the project in the different sections where they have, I see where they have the commerce, the commerce section, and the like restaurant, meeting the needs of the public, but it's just a large project, and everyone knows that, but it's going to take a lot of planning and careful planning, because, and I'm thinking that it is good, some idea they say about bicycle facilities, because a lot of people are cyclists, and the widening for the pedestrians, right now it's dangerous in some places, of course, but I think you need to make sure, do some kind of survey or some, I don't know if they have, I'm sorry I didn't have time to see if they have for the different places they want all this to happen along the way, nice things going on for the public, but to make sure there would be the public there to enjoy it. It is a certain area to put this there, to do the research to check that out. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Watanabe?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Rachel, for applying. Do you believe we need more fees and TDM measures for developers to abide by, and additional transportation improvements?
Well, as is obvious, according to the projects, I believe, of course, since some projects, for instance, one that I was thinking of having a say in helping the community understand is that for the unhoused on Lawrence and Benton, something like that is more contained, and of course you wouldn't need such fees increased, but like the El Camino Real, one of these very on the opposite side of that, where the developers and different how many developers are going to be, I know you have the service from Hexagon. I read that is the service that decides upon those fees, and they would surely have to evaluate closely what is needed for El Camino Real, since there's a lot of transportation changes, like different bus schedules, and of course the widening for the pedestrians, which is going to change the road, and a lot of things. And bicycle is just, there will be for certain projects, yes.
Thank you. So I think right now, Rachel, we're ready for your 1-minute closing statement.
Okay, well, I guess the most important thing is that everything I've been involved with has been better after. And I have a track record of that, whether it's from something as small as when I treated the horses at the equestrian center, which is different than this, but I solved about 9 diseases at UC Davis Equestrian Center, and all the way to something like helping Greece get Victoria's Secret sooner, when the president of the American Hellenic Chamber of Commerce actually thought it was already there, but it wasn't. And I just leave things better. And also when I did trading at the top of the Athens Tower, where I told them if you kept me on, we went through a probational period, and that you'd be blessed, because I take, just like Mr. Curtin, I am very strong with my faith, and God helps me, and I believe he blesses me for the things that I do so that's what I do. Yes.
Thank you so much. Excellent interview. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
If you'd like to have a seat, we'll be making our decision very shortly. Thank you. All right, Kaushal, welcome back. When you're ready, up to 3 minutes for your interview.
Thank you for having me here again. So this time my introduction will be based on the commission which I'm applying for. So as I said earlier, I was born and brought up in India, in a small town. It was about almost a large village, and it was about to be developed as a town. And at the age of 16, I purchased the land and started developing house for my family. Means we are a middle class family, we do not have a lot of income. So I planned that building of this house based on how the income flow is happening. My father was government employee, so sometime he used to get arrears, which is kind of bonus, like a back pays. So I planned everything that way. So it was a small house, but at the same time that area was completely new. There were not many houses already there. So I was also involved in the community development there at that age, attending meetings of new homeowners, not homeowner, new landowners, because everybody get the house developed by themselves. They buy the labor, rent the labor, dig the land, and have the basement and everything done there. So that's where I have got my first instinct with the planning and development. Now, coming back to Santa Clara, when I came here and I bought my first house. Actually, that's my only house since I bought here. I'm living there since 2005. My first interaction with Planning Commission was for a house which was in my neighborhood, and I helped that homeowner because he wanted to get it 2-story. And then the Maywood area is a historical area. You cannot have second story. So it was a huge fight. I remember, I think, Rachel, you were there in the Planning Commission, and I came here multiple times and support him and invited all those homeowners who were aspiring to have a second story in my house over tea, and we decided strategy, how should we do it. Our focus was mainly to have a sustainable development. Means you are not going to have so much stories and ruining the greenery here. So that was the development, my interaction with. And second part, when I saw many things in El Camino Real, I think this can be developed a much better way. And it can take some positive things from Santa Clara Square, where I work. It can take some of the positive things from Santana Row, which is near my home, like a kind of a mixed use zoning. So that's where I got more interested in Planning Commission. In fact, going back to my previous thing, when many of my neighbors actually come to me when they are applying for the second story, that without annoying the neighbors, how can we get this passed? So that's where I am.
All right, very good, thank you. So next, we have Vice Mayor Park for the first question.
Thank you very much again. This presentation and the previous one were all very good.
Yeah.
What development in Santa Clara is a good example of planning and why?
Yes, thank you. This is a good question for me because I will not copy others' answer. But though I like Santa Clara Square, but I just keep going on the Planning Commission website. And one of the place which is near the El Camino Real and the Calabazas area, I think its address is 3155 El Camino Real, which is I think approved and under development. I looked at this planning and I like this one a lot. And I have not all the information, but what I am looking at it, that this is at the El Camino Real area. It will reduce the number of cars. That is always my motto, that reduce the number of cars from the street. So this is a kind of, even though it is written as a residential zone property, I'm assuming this would be very close to mixed zone where people can have, ultimately mixed zone means it is something where the people can walk to their small shopping and right. If work is there, they can walk to work also. But that is something which is close to my heart because it's close to my friends' places also. Even though I lost the Pani Puri company there, but still I like that place.
Okay, very good.
Thank you very much, sir.
Councilmember Becker?
Thank you for applying again. What do you believe your role as a planning commissioner would be?
Yes, so I read about this on our website. Planning commissioner role is mostly advisory role. Like whatever the proposed developments are submitted, we need to advise city council based on their vision. So it's advising city council based for development, like physical development of the city and land divisions, as well as the zoning, because zoning keeps changing depending on how the population is moving in. And my goal in this case, I again say it's sustainable development is my motto.
Thank you. Councilmember Hardy?
Yes. Do you have any thoughts about the El Camino specific area plan?
Yes, that's close to my heart. Thank you for asking this question. This is something I would say that at El Camino Real, there are one thing which we can take advantage of. If I have a control on VTA, I could make some additional routes there. But using the Route 22 frequency and other thing, we should look at the El Camino Real as creating a mixed zone area, like where people can do small shopping, casual shopping, and the workplaces, small businesses are there, and something similar to what we have in the Santana Row area and mix of the Santa Clara Square. I have some ideas about it. How can we do it? And I would say go for the mixed zone development in the El Camino Real.
Thank you. Councilmember Jane?
Thank you, Kaushal. Do you believe we need more fees and TDM measures for developers to abide by? How about transportation improvements?
Yes, as opposed to a couple of my fellow interviewees, I am strongly for fees for TDM measures because you need upfront funds for transportation demand management, to address the transportation demand management. So that's why we need a lot of heavy fee. Yes, there was some concern that, okay, this fee will be going to, pass down to, some poor people and other things. So I would have different idea for that, something like we have the food stamps, something like we can provide, subsidized bus tickets and transportation fee for people who are affected by the transport TDM fees. But I'm highly for yes for having a TDM fees because city need fund for developing transportation work on the transport department demand management. So that yes for me.
All right, thank you. And now it's time for your 1-minute closing statement.
Thank you for having me here. I will again reiterate my motto for sustainable development. Nowadays, what is happening is, first of all, the population is increasing. We cannot completely say that, okay, we need to completely have only single family home. I am for the mixed zone development. And second part, we also need to see how the demand of electricity is increasing in California. I have my friend who is working in an electricity division in Sacramento, and he tells me currently our demand is very, very close to supply, thanks to electric cars. So we need to see that if we can remove number of vehicles from the road and make this development in a way that people live close to their work and shopping, and that will, and also one more idea which I came to my mind, that I see a lot of open parking lot. Mandate the parking lot to be covered by solar panels. More use of renewable energies. That's my motto.
Wow, right at the end. Thank you very much, Kaushal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent interview as well. We had 4 excellent candidates. Can I have 4 votes, please? This is really amazing, the quality of the candidates we have here this evening. Let's try 2 votes again. So if we can get the top vote getter and the second vote getter, if it doesn't end up in a 3-way tie. For the planning commissioner and the eligibility list. We can do that. 2 votes. Everybody, 2 votes.
Okay, Councilmember Shahal.
Two tough votes.
Yeah.
Very tough votes, I agree.
I'll go for Eric and Kaushal.
Councilmember Watanabe.
Very hard. I'm going to go with Jenny and Eric.
Vice Mayor Park.
I'm going to go with Eric and Kaushal.
Councilmember Becker.
I'm going to go with Eric and Jenny.
Councilmember Hardy.
Eric and Rachel.
Councilmember Jane.
Eric and Kaushal.
Mayor Gilmore.
I'm going with Kaushal and Jenny.
Okay, so I've got
So that's Eric for the planning commissioner, Kaushal
we have
for the eligibility.
we have a tie.
Oh, we do?
Jenny and Kaushal, 3 votes each.
I have 4 for Kaushal.
I can read these back to you. See who I missed.
Unless I wrote it down wrong, which is a possibility.
I also have 4 for Kaushal.
So, yeah.
Okay, then I missed something.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So may I have a motion for Eric for planning commissioner and Kaushal for eligibility list?
I'll motion.
Second.
A motion and a second for that. City clerk, when you're ready. Okay, please register your votes. And that passes unanimously. Thank you very much to, congratulations to Eric and Kaushal on the eligibility list. For those who are not on an eligibility list, who applied, we had excellent interviews. Please come back and apply for commissions again. We have openings all the time. So don't get discouraged by this because you're all excellent candidates. Don't want to lose you at all. So, so please come back again. We'd appreciate having your expertise here. And congratulations to our applicants who made it tonight. Thank you all. All right, next we have a motion to adjourn. May I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Chahal, second by Vice Mayor Park to adjourn. Please register your vote. And that passes unanimously, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.